get into a Simply IOA game preview, getting ready to take on the Baltimore Ravens this Sunday in Baltimore. Game preview number 1, score early. All about how you start, especially with Gardner Minshew as your starting quarterback. He plays his best with momentum on his side. The best case for this team is if they get the ball first and they go down and they score, get an early lead on the Ravens, and keep that momentum going. You don't want to be playing from behind, especially against this Baltimore team that has so many weapons on offense. It's easy for them to score, and you want to stay with them as early as possible. Number 2, 8-man in the box. We were talking with Bucky Brooks yesterday, and he said the Ravens are the army of the NFL. They live to pound the ball, and then they'll have a few passes that you're not expecting to open up the passing game. But they are a run-first team, and with that, you have to have a strong run defense. We talk about that every week, but especially this week, the Ravens are known for this, and you have to be able to contain the run right at the start of the game, or you don't have a chance to be competitive in this game. And finally, number 3, and this is an overarching theme, but you gotta find the motivation. This is big picture, but also the biggest glare to this game for me. The Ravens are playing to get into the playoffs after a crazy year that they have had. They need to win their last 3 games in order to stay relevant in the playoffs. The Jaguars, as we know, are going up there on a 12-game losing streak. So it's going to be difficult, but you have to match the Ravens' intensity. Find that motivation to go up there and compete against a Ravens team that has everything to lose. And Brian, that's the biggest thing. We can talk about the run game and the X's and O's, but the motivation has to be there in order for this game to be competitive.
You know, this morning I read Albert Breer's story on SportsIllustrated.com, and it was focused. It was his, I guess he calls it his game plan. It was focused on Doug Marrone and the Jaguars. I encourage everyone to read it. There was a story in there that I didn't know in the post Minnesota locker room. Brandon Linder was in the training room, and he offered to Doug he would be back to finish it, and it was sort of a central theme of the story, and that was these guys play for each other. It's professional football. It's about the money. It's about your career. We don't talk all the time about, team in terms of individuals, working for each other, playing for each other, because it's about the money, right? You go play your best and you get the check. But that's what Doug has been able to do, is focus these guys on playing for each other. And Doug, he's been around this a long time. He saw this coming before the season began with different players who were let go or traded or whatever. He knew this was going to be a hard mountain to climb. So he dug in early on getting guys to play for the right reasons for each other and to focus on the things they could focus on. And that's where the motivation comes from, to play as hard and as well as you can. Now, Sunday, the motivation is also not to look bad against Lamar Jackson. I mean, he can make you look foolish. So playing for each other and playing to not be embarrassed by Lamar Jackson seem to go hand in hand. Play so that the guy next to you looks good too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we've heard that from Miles Jack. We heard it from Laviska Shenault this week as well. He was saying play for the love of the guy next to you, yes, for yourself, but you don't want to embarrass your teammate as well. And Doug Marrone has done a great job of no pointing fingers and keeping this team together through all of this adversity. And John, now we go to the first point, which is score early. Easier said than done against this Ravens defense, but especially with Gardner Minshew at quarterback. He plays best when there's a lead and not coming from behind and having that momentum with him.
Well, and I think this ties into the third point, which is motivation. Teams late in the season, like the Jaguars that are out of it, if they get down, it becomes very disheartening because you've been down before. And there's a tendency for sort of a here we go again. Although we saw a little bit of that last week. You get down against the Titans, it's hard to come back. So that's, to me, why they need to score early. The second on-field thing is not so much Gardner Minshew as much, but if you don't score early against the Ravens, then they continue to be able to do what they like to do, which is run. To me, the only chance the Jaguars have to win this, score early, get a break. If you get a first touchdown drive with your offense, get a break, get up 10-0, get up 14-0, which they haven't done. But if you do that against Lamar Jackson, then maybe he needs to throw when he doesn't want to throw. He's unbelievable when he throws when he wants to throw, because that means he's throwing when the defense is coming up to stop him. It means they're thinking about the run and he's play action and throwing over them. When they have to throw, that's when they get in trouble. That's to me, that's why the early lead is so important. I don't know if they're going to get it. They haven't gotten it all year. But to have a chance on Sunday, they need it.
Yes, they do. You want to have early momentum, score early, and stay in this game with the Ravens because, like we said, Lamar Jackson, you don't want to look silly against this team and stay competitive on Sunday in Baltimore.